Hey, how's it going? So, welcome to this new video, and this one's going to be a little bit different to what I've put out in the past on my channel. You might have noticed that everything prior to this video is landscape photography, and I love doing landscapes and I'll keep doing landscapes, but this is an opportunity for me to try something different for my channel and do a bit of street photography. And as well as that, it's actually an opportunity for me to go out and try my new camera. And so I've gone out and picked up myself a Canon R6 Mark II, and I've loved going out and doing video stuff with it recently, but what I haven't done a whole lot of is stills work. And so yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So we'll go and jump on a train in a minute and head into town and see what I can get. So here we are at North Melbourne Station, and the first location that I'm going to shoot from is just off to the right here, where there's a little viewing platform which you can actually use to watch the trains go over the viaduct there. And I noticed this one as I was just arriving, and I rushed a little bit to try and get it, but then a bit further down coming the other direction actually noticed there was another V-line. So calmed down a bit and actually managed to get a shot with both of them in frame, which I thought was pretty cool and nice little way to start the shoot. And so I'll just jump in here and let you know that this is not really going to be so much a review of the R6 as much as it's really just me testing out my new camera. So I hope that's alright, and I hope that you enjoy coming along for the ride. But yeah, if you want anything technical, there's really not going to be anything like that in this. Anything groundbreaking, it's like a graffiti on the door. Okay, I reckon our mate fishing here could be a cool shot. Let's see. So here's that shot of the man fishing, and honestly it's pretty cool. I think if I'm really going to nitpick, maybe those boats are sort of a bit distracting, but otherwise it's not too bad. But from here I've quickly switched over to my tele lens so that I could get some close-up stuff of the bridge there in the distance. And you can see in this shot it's a bit tidier, it's a bit cleaner, and yeah, pretty happy with that. I like the boat in the foreground, and yeah, not bad. And then from here, I just turned around, shot the other way, honestly. It's basically just down Burke Street, where there's this old tram that you can see there in the gap between my hands. And this first shot I kind of like, actually. It's pretty cool. So the tram a little bit off to the left, with the gap in the buildings off in the distance, and then this other shot here where the tram's just dropping off and picking up some people, and that guy off to the right kind of maybe balances things out a little bit. So I spent some time shooting other shots of trams up in this spot, and this one I tried to get the person bang in the middle, and it was very close. I was sort of reasonably happy with it, but there's another shot coming up, and that's going to be this one here where the person's sort of much more centered in the image, and I like the motion they have, and sort of walking left to right, and then the tram off on the hill. Yeah, pretty cool. Look at that. Someone made this hole for my camera. Ah, that's cool. Nice, we've got a train going down that way. How about that? Not amazing, not terrible. So this is sort of roughly the kind of shot that I was looking at getting of some trams coming up the bridge. Ended up waiting around in this area for a while actually, because as much as it seemed to be there were a lot of trams going up and down this area, they I guess sort of tapered off a bit before I managed to find a spot I wanted to shoot from. So the first shot I managed to get of these trams coming up was this more modern one, which yeah, it's kind of cool. The bridge off in the distance sort of made for a nice little composition. And then just before I headed off, I managed to catch this one of the old tram coming up, and I think this one I prefer a little more to the newer tram from before. So at this point I was starting to get pretty tired and pretty hungry, and decided that it was time to go get some dinner. And so prior to that, there's going to be a little bit of sort of Melbourne CBD ASMR. If you do want to skip ahead to the photos, just jump to this point in the video, but otherwise stick around for a few moments and we'll jump on a tram, grab some food, and then head over to Chinatown.
The next stop is Burke Street Mall, Elizabeth Street. Change here for route 19, 57 and 59.
Hi, table for one?
Yeah, you ready? Just order it.
Yeah, all good. Oh, thank you. Alright, so after that great little dinner, I'm heading over to Chinatown, but before I get there, there's going to be at least one or two spots that I'll stop off to take some photos, and so this is the first of those, and it's the State Library. And so this one with the people on the steps off to the right, and then the lighting on the building and the statue in the middle, I thought it was kind of cool. And then as I was heading down, there was this gentleman here busking away playing his instrument. Not sure what that is, but it was very cool. I like to see that. And so yeah, this little shot here, I'm not sort of much of a portrait photographer, but as much as that's the case, I kind of like this shot anyway.
Very glad to have come out. It was definitely one of those days where prior to leaving I was starting to feel like, oh, is this worth it? What am I doing? It's just, it's been a few shoots that I've done this week, and yeah, I think, definitely feeling like it was one of those things where it was a big thing that I pushed through and went ahead and did it anyway. It's hard to say much for the shots that I got, because at least at this stage it's just all off the back of the camera that I've seen. Anyway, we'll a little bit more walking, a few more photos, and then we'll head home.
And so the way it is in Melbourne CBD, there's just so many of these little alleyways, and always interesting, especially on busy nights like this, to check out with the camera and see what's going on. And so in this case, I was trying to get a photo of that guy on the bike, but then I could hear these people coming up from behind me, and so before I pulled the camera away, I thought I'd wait a sec, and I'm glad I did, because this shot with them high-fiving in front of me was pretty cool actually. So yeah, one of those spontaneous moments that worked out pretty well. And so just continuing my wandering of the streets and heading up to another spot that I've shot at before. And so this one I got quite a long time ago on film, I think, and the way that these sort of coloured banners above that sort of dark patch in the alleyway was sort of felt like a natural frame, and that's where these people came in to sort of fill that negative space. And yeah, I was really happy with the way that this one looked. So let me know what you think. Yeah, happy to hear what anyone's thoughts are on any of these photos, so feel free to jump in the comments and let me know. And so on this, another one of these little alleyways, I've noticed the zigzagging of the lights and thought that was pretty cool. And so I've sort of positioned myself here to get a shot with that person off in the distance. They don't really play a whole lot in the frame, but they do add a little bit of interest in that third that the laneway's sort of drawing your eye to. Okay, so just heading down the street a bit further, and noticed this restaurant off to my right where there were a few people lining up waiting to get in. And just with that bright light and the car park above, I thought I'd try and get a quick shot. And yeah, this isn't too bad a frame, but I would have liked to have seen what the motorcycle on the left could have added to it. I might have put the sign in a weird spot if I had moved to the left, but yeah, it would have been cool to see what that might have done to the composition. Up ahead I noticed that there was a little tour bus, and decided I'd try and see what I could make of this little scene that I saw in front. And yeah, it was kind of cool. I like the way that there's a lot of people around, and the bus sort of stands out, and you can kind of tell what's going on just from that frame, and trying to sort of have a bit of story to it was kind of cool. So ended up heading sort of back towards Elizabeth Street from here. And so if you don't already know, Elizabeth Street is one of the big sort of main streets in the CBD of Melbourne, and it's also where I'll be catching my train home. But before I did that, I noticed that there was this sort of loud car off in the distance. I didn't know what it was at the time, but then here we go, it comes past. I managed to quickly snap this shot of the blue MR2. And so at the time I was trying to get something a bit crisper, but honestly the blur kind of works for me. And yeah, it's another one I'm keen to hear what people think of, and let me know if you think it works. But I think the motion of the blur the car's making is yeah, it's kind of cool, makes it look fast. So I don't usually try to shoot sort of individuals very often in my street photography, but this one here I couldn't really resist. There's this guy who's just waiting for his burger at this burger joint that I think's actually closed now. But yeah, the way his white jacket was lit up, with all the sort of darkness around him, created by the shadows, was kind of cool. So yeah, it was not a bad shot, that one. Here we are on Elizabeth Street, and so this is very close to where I'll be wrapping things up. But before I did, I managed to get this one last shot. And so the way it worked is we had these people running to catch this tram, and then this guy here with his red jacket. I just really like the way that it contrasts against the green of the tram. And honestly, this has ended up one of my favorite shots from this little trip. And so yeah, I think you know, for a first time getting out and shooting with a new camera, this to me was a success. You know, there's a few shots in there that I'm pretty happy with. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you think, and tell me if you think that there were things that might be, you know, could have been improved in any kind of way or whatever. Yeah, I think if you tell me nicely, I'd be happy to hear it. So thanks for tuning into this one, and I hope that I can put something out again soon and that you come around and watch that too. Cheers, bye.